I've had the privilege of the last several days to spend at least a few moments with so many of my predecessors, Mayor Doug Palmer, Stephanie Rawlings-Blake, Don Plasquelic, Wellington Webb, Manny Diaz, Mitch Landrieu, and Michael Nutter. Of course, my fellow South Carolinian Joe Riley always stays in my head and in our hearts. And obviously, Mayor Elizabeth Couts, our only still serving president of this organization, all friends and mentors. And I will tell you, this is indeed a humbling experience. It is fitting that we're having this conference in Boston with Marty Walsh and his team. When we were founded in 1932, the mayor of this great city, Mayor James Michael Curley, was one of the original 7 members to lobby Washington after leaving the chartering convention in the city of Detroit. These 7 mayors went to Washington because our cities facing the Great Depression were suffering. Our parents and grandparents were left wanting for food, wanting for jobs, wanting for leadership that understood their value. They found that leadership not in Washington, but they found it at City Hall. 86 years later, finds us here today where the leaders in this room are the ones solving the nation's problems and literally lifting up our neighbors. When I say leaders, I'm not just talking about our mayors. I mean our modern global business leaders in this room with us today. Every one of us in this room today has the ability through your nonprofit, your private company, your startup, through your civil service, through your foundation, to make hundreds of millions of citizens who are represented here not forgotten. This is a gift, a duty, to use our abilities for the betterment of each other. It is amazing the way that the world has changed since our humble beginnings. I had a chance to review the new McKinsey Global Smart Cities report that shows how digital solutions are creating a more livable future for each and every one of us. It shows how a commitment to data and building a true innovation economy and regulatory schemes that allow for the deployment of private sector capital to meet public sector needs, how we can see a 30 to 40% reduction in crime, up to 15% lower chronic disease burdens, increased productivity by shaving 15 to 30 minutes off of our daily commute times, how we can conserve 25 to 80 liters of water per person per day, how we can see faster emergency response time and save lives. Amazing innovations happen globally that will help advance the fortunes of American cities. In our cities, Washington won't find Americans who want handouts. Washington will find hard-working men and women who want a fair playing field, who want the opportunity to earn a good living. Come to Columbia. Washington will find Americans who are creative, who are entrepreneurs, Americans who pay their taxes, Americans who serve in our military, who are committed to the same ideals as you and I. These ideals are the basis of the unity that gives us strength, the ideal that we must leave this world better than we found it. We work every day so that those who come after us, again, have opportunities greater than we do. We must continue to focus on unifying ideals to accomplish our goals of infrastructure, innovation, and inclusion. If we focus on what divides us, we will never see the potential of our talents. We are seeing the fruits of our collective labors. I'm pleased to announce that our U.S. metro cities continue to drive the nation's economic growth, accounting for over 91% of our nation's gross domestic product, 91.6% of our wage income, and 88% of all jobs in 2017. But listen to this. Last year, our cities in the metro regions accounted for 95.9% of our growth in GDP, equaling $337 billion. So 99.5% of all new jobs started in this room, These numbers are astounding and illustrate the incredible role that we play in our nation's future. It's clear that the health of our metro economies is key to our nation's economic prosperity. We must continue to carry this message to Washington and across the country. If cities are strong, then indeed America will be strong. This is why we as a nation's mayors have to never stop advocating for a national infrastructure bill to make our country stronger. We'll never stop being the laboratories of inclusion that makes everyone feel welcome, and we'll never stop innovating to make our local governments more efficient and business-friendly. We'll never stop representing the 86% of Americans who live in our borders and in our communities, who want to see their government work better for everyone. It is an incontrovertible fact that cities are driving the American economy and our robust growth, and we're seeing it in our city too. In Columbia, South Carolina, the capital of our great state, we're home to Carnegie Research One University and the University of South Carolina, two fantastic historically black colleges, universities, in Benedict College and Allen University, the very best technical college in the entire country, in Midlands Technical College. Victory starts in Columbia at Fort Jackson, the Army's largest training base in the world, training a preponderance of the men and the majority of all the women in the Army. We are a cosmopolitan microcosm of world society with citizens from 200 different countries who speak 90 different languages. With all the great things we have going on in insurance technology and future fuels, I will tell you, I love telling people about what actually happens when you walk off post, or you walk off campus, or outside of the halls of our state government, what makes our city special, and it's the people. It's the people. That you can still find men in Columbia who open doors for ladies. You still find people who still pull over for funeral processions. I tell them we aren't reticent about thanking God for his many blessings in our lives. Then you can still find sweet tea in restaurants in Columbia, South Carolina. And people indeed still know the power of two of the most important words in the English language. And those words are very simply, thank you. Thank you. So let me take a moment to say thank you to all of my friends and colleague mayors. Thank you for entrusting me with this responsibility and the honor to lead our organizations. From small cities to large cities, we continue to drive this incredible American experience, the greatest and most powerful democratic nation in the history of the world. Thank you for being mentors. Thank you for being colleagues, confidants when we have challenges in our city, and certainly when we need guidance here at the U.S. Conference of Mayors. All of our mayors, please stand for a round of applause. All mayors, please stand. Stand. America's mayors roll strong, we roll deep, we roll together. This is our organization, and we will lead it together. I'm so thankful to each and every one of you. Thank you. I want to say thank you to my fantastic team from Columbia, to Hayward and Lauren and Ariel and Shalane, Chris and Chief Holbrook and Chief Kelly. I have Ralph and Deborah from our Washington office here, working every single day to make our capital city a better place. I want to thank Tom Cochran. Tom and the entire United States Conference of Mayors staff who have been the trusted stewards of America's cities since our inception in 1932. Tom, I look forward to working with you. I promise that we will always value you and respect your commitment to this wonderful organization. I want to thank my friend Brian Barnett. Where is Brian? Brian, every time we walk into a room, people say, here comes the smart mayor and the good-looking mayor. And then they say, oh, here comes Brian Barnett, too. All of you who know Brian knows that he deserves that. And I will be recompensed over time with the same amount of levity. Together, over the next 2 years, we're going to combine our talents and work together to build our nation's infrastructure, to invest in innovation, to speak and advance policies that speak to the value of the human spirit to all of us. As we focus on the next 2 years, we commit to restore bipartisanship to our national political discussion, civility to our public discourse, respect to the pursuit of public service, and humility to the opportunity to serve, courage to pursuit of justice. We know that only together can we rebuild the bones of this country through our focus on infrastructure, the mind of this country through our focus on innovation, and the soul of this country through our focus on inclusion. If we do this, then our children will again inherit a better country than we did. As mayors, we must continue to be that national and constant voice. Brian, thank you for your partnership, brother. Looking forward to working with you, my man. And thank you to my family, my mom and dad, Sam and Maggie, Benjamin. If God had allowed me to pick my own parents, I couldn't have done a better job. Thank you for nurturing my curiosity, pushing me to be the young man that you needed me to be, and thank you for serving as a wonderful example of what love should look like. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. This part was not expected. I didn't get that. Lord have mercy. Okay, we're gonna make it through here. How about that? Mr. and Mrs. Gist, my fantastic in-laws. I actually love my in-laws, guys. I don't know about you guys. Thank you for entrusting me with your daughter. I've always appreciated it, but never as much until we became parents, and I understood the unconditional love that comes with that blessed experience. And I thank you for being fantastic, fantastic in-laws. To my sister-in-law, Cynthia, my mom's and dad's friends, the Goals and Doris, who I know are in here somewhere. Thank you for making the special trip to Boston. It's made this experience that much more special. Many of you have met my wonderful, please. Many of you have met my wonderful wife, DeAndre. I tell her every day that she is the best thing that ever happened to me, and she agrees with me. DeAndre, thank you for being my best friend, being my rock, always having my back. Thank you for 16 years of marriage yesterday. And for loving me in spite of myself sometimes. All right. Bethany and Jordan Grace. My children know that I'm not given much to hyperbole. So you know that I mean it with every ounce, every fiber of my being, that you are the most incredible gifts that God could have ever given to me and your mom. Watching you grow into brilliant, kind, thoughtful, compassionate, prayerful young ladies has added a dimension to my sense of purpose that I find it very difficult to articulate at times. Your growth edifies me. You are the source of our joy. And we're so thankful for you. I pray that you will always be your authentic and compassionate selves. The world needs you. The world needs you. So thank you. For decades, the United States Conference of Mayors has taken a strong position in support of civil rights and opposition to racism and discrimination of all kinds. Following the protests in Charlottesville in 2017, working with the Anti-Defamation League, the conference launched the Mayor's Compact to combat hate, extremism, and bigotry, to promote the fundamental principles of justice and equality that define America. More than 325 mayors signed on. The most recent and largest mayoral action for diversity and inclusion have signed the compact, committing to fight inequities and create inclusive and compassionate cities. In recognition of the strong response to the Mayor's Compact, the conference is launching the Mayors and Business Leaders Center for Inclusive and Compassionate Cities. An important goal of the center is to create a strong, committed partnership between mayors and business leaders inside the conference and to collaborate on visions of success and make our cities and ultimately our nation stronger, more equitable, more compassionate, and more inclusive. Inclusion is good for our economy, good for business, good for cities, and good for our nation. The center will work with an initial gift from a founding member, the Walmart Corporation. Please, a round of applause from Walmart, please. A founding member, and will support and advance the Mayor's Compact with sustained action through collaboration, education, and awareness, information sharing technical assistance and best practices. We're inviting the business community to join in building this center as founding members as well as we advance sustainable change in our cities and our country. We're going to be getting into the nitty-gritty of what it takes to build inclusive communities, collecting and disseminating best practices, providing information and technical assistance, recognizing exemplary efforts, facilitating mayoral conversations and community conversations, targeting communities to bring together civic, business, and community leaders to build trust. We've had some fantastic leadership in this space in Louisville, in Anaheim, and other cities across the country. We're going to do some great things together as we focus on intentionally building inclusive and compassionate cities. I again draw my inspiration from my girls, as I know many of you do. Bethany and Jordan Grace, they don't know how their conversations with me and their mother shape our policy making in our city every single day. I don't worry a lot about the Benjamin girls. I probably will as they go into teenagerhood, I guess. But I worry each day. I go to bed at night, I wake up in the morning, want to make sure I'm building a city so that all children, regardless of who they are or whose they are, what zip code they live in, what side of town they live in, that they have the same opportunities that my children have. Indeed, I remember a conversation we had with Bethany and Jordan Grace, DeAndre and I did 7 years ago. 7 years ago, we lost a leader in our church, Mrs. Betty Cunningham, who was a pioneering educator and was Bethany's very first piano instructor. Taught her to play like a mighty stream, lift every voice and let us sing, and every song let freedom ring. From every soul comes a noble dream, let justice roll like a mighty stream. And Bethany developed an affection for her. Well, over the holidays, the Christmas holidays, Miss Cunningham became ill, and she passed away just before Valentine's Day. And DeAndre and I struggled for about a week trying to decide how we were going to share the news with Bethany and the girls, especially because we knew on Sunday the pastor was going to talk about it at church, so the clock was ticking. We were going to have this conversation. We left Valentine's dinner and we sojourned home in the car and decided we were just going to have the conversation. I guess Bethany was about 6 years old then. And it started like this. Bethany, Mrs. Cunningham, passed away. She said, what does that mean, passed away? And we said, well, she died. And of course, to which her younger sister, Jordan Grace, 2 years younger, quickly goes into panic mode. Died. How did she die? To which DeAndre and I were just trying to figure out what to say next. And I remember it almost like it was verbatim. Bethany stopped her sister in her tracks, 6 years old and 4 years old. And she says, Jordy, it doesn't matter how she died. It matters how she lived. And Mrs. She said, Mrs. Cunningham lived a good life, and it's going to be all right. And said, Daddy, she gets to be with Mr. Cunningham in heaven now. That quote reminded me that not that I was mayor, but why I became mayor of Columbia, South Carolina. Hopefully it reminds each and every one of you as well. It matters how we live. This conference has given us, by unifying our cities, the means to contribute to the whole of life in this country on a grand scale. The convening of mayors of different party affiliations and backgrounds, different upbringings and geographical perspectives, brought together to collaborate for a purpose that accomplishes things great, far greater collectively than we could ever do separately. Recognizing that cities are not only where our people live, it's also where they hope and where they dream. It's where their passions live. The heart of the people is found in our cities. And we have a lot to be proud of here, a lot to be thankful for here at the U.S. Conference of Mayors. We are not some homogeneous assembly of identical faith and experience. We have no litmus tests. We have no loyalty oath. We have no voter ID. Instead, we are a congregation of diversity, a delegation of variety, a convention that defies convention. It doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman, your race, your creed, your color, your sexual orientation or national origin, what God you pray to, or if you pray at all, we join together in the same spirit of brotherhood, sisterhood, and community. We're business owners and union organizers. We're teachers and students. We're police officers and firefighters. We're peace activists and soldiers. All of us coming together under the same roof and sharing the very same American dream. You don't need your long-form birth certificate because we are America. We are the daughters of the American Revolution and the sons of immigrants, unified not by platform or dogma, but in the fundamental democratic belief that if you see a man get knocked down, you don't just say it's a shame. You help him get back on his feet. If you're walking by a family stuck in the mud, you don't just pretend you didn't see them. You put your own shoulder to the wheel until they are free. And if you see your neighbor struggling under the weight of his circumstance, you don't let him carry that weight alone. You carry it with him until you can both put it down together. I am a mayor because I am my brother's keeper. I am a mayor. I am a mayor because I can't look at a child squirreling away food on her food tray at school to feed her younger brothers and sisters at home and do nothing to help. I am a mayor because when I see a mother struggling with diabetes or a father with hypertension, I don't see a pre-existing condition. I see a child of God in pain. I am a mayor because I can't watch a little girl in my city struggle with asthma in 2018 and not commit myself to leading the transition away from fossil fuels to 100% clean and renewable energy for all of our people. I'm a mayor because I believe that education is not a luxury, it is a human right. I'm a mayor because I believe that my right to bear arms also comes with grave responsibilities as well, and we will fight for them. I'm a mayor. I'm a mayor because I believe that our children should be able to go to school, that our babies should be able to go learn without having to worry about coming home safe every single day. We have to fight for our children. I am a mayor because I believe that all people want the opportunity to earn a good living, and they're relying on us to do that. I recognize you cannot pull yourself up by your bootstraps if you have no boots at all. Poverty is real, still. Income volatility is real. The future of our country depends on us. The future of work depends on us. The dignity of work depends on us. I'm a mayor because we have to embrace that responsibility. I'm a mayor because our Constitution does not read we the politicians. It does not read we the shareholders or we the wealthy. It says we the people, and we the people who lead America's cities are in this moment for such a time as this to rise and meet the challenges of the 21st century head on. My friends, it matters how we live. And as we take this journey together, I pray that the Lord blesses you and keeps you. He makes his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. He lifts his countenance upon you and gives you peace. Thank you, and God bless you.